Today, we're diving into something pretty profound, an ancient roadmap for what happens to the soul after death. And it all begins at the very first stop, a realm they called Bhuvarloka.
It's probably the one question every single one of us asks at some point. What actually happens when we die? Is that it? Or is there something more?
Well, according to the ancient source we're digging into today, death is not the end, not even close. In fact, for the soul, it's just the beginning of a truly incredible and pretty complex journey.
All right, so let's get right into it. The soul's journey kicks off in this. Well, think of it as the very first stop for everyone who has passed on. And this place? It's called Bhuvarloka.
So, what exactly is this place? The texts paint a picture of it as an intermediate realm, kind of like a celestial layover spot, located in that huge space between Earth and the sun. It's also known as Pitruloka, which literally means the realm of the ancestors, because, well, that's where the souls of our ancestors first gather. But here's the thing. Getting there isn't automatic. It's not a guarantee. A soul's ability to even make that trip is governed by something you could call spiritual physics. It all comes down to something the texts refer to as its karmic weight. And this weight is all about two opposing forces. On one hand, you have souls that are described as heavy. They're weighed down by a negative air element called Vayu Tattva. This heaviness, this spiritual density, literally traps them, tying them to all their old earthly attachments. But then you have the good souls. They're light, filled with a pure space element or Akasha Tattva. And this lightness is what lets them just float up, ascending toward peace. And get this. This isn't just some poetic metaphor. The source material gives a hard number. It says that Earth's gravitational pull extends out for 200 kilometers. That creates a very real physical barrier that these heavy souls, the ones bogged down by negative karma, simply can't break through. So, okay, if a soul is trapped by its own karmic weight, is that it? Are they just stuck forever? Well, thankfully, no. According to these teachings, there's a way out. There's a very specific path for purification, a way to rise up. This path is basically a 4-step process. First up is penance. The soul has to undertake these spiritual practices. Doing that opens it up to receive something called the supreme light. And this light is what purifies its subtle energetic body. And as that purification happens, that pure Akasha Tattva, the space element, starts to increase. The soul gets lighter and lighter until, boom, it finally has the power and the speed it needs to rise up. So where does all this intense spiritual work actually take place? You might be surprised. The texts point to very specific, very real places right here on Earth, places that act like powerful charging stations for the soul. And these sacred spots, they're concentrated in the Himalayas. We're talking about places like Kailash, Mansarovar, Badrinath, and Kedarnath. They're described as being home to these subtle ashrams, invisible to us, where souls literally gather to do this incredibly important work of purification. Okay, but why there? Why the Himalayas? Well, according to the source, the very atmosphere in these mountains, that Vayu Tattva, the air element, it's just uniquely light and powerful. So by being in that environment, a soul can basically recharge its own energy field. It's like it burns away all that heavy karma that was holding it down. But you have to understand, this charging process, it's really just the first step. Yeah, healing the soul's immediate energy is super important, but the ultimate goal? Oh, it's way bigger. We're talking about total liberation from the entire cycle of birth and rebirth. And to get that, we need to understand the difference between two bodies the soul has. First, there's the subtle body. That's its energetic form right after death, and that's what gets charged and healed in the Himalayas. But then there's the causal body. This one is way deeper. The best way to think of it is like the soul's permanent hard drive. It records every single karma from every single life. So to be truly free, for good, it's the causal body that needs that ultimate purification. And that right there is the ultimate endgame in this cosmic roadmap. The whole point is to charge the causal body itself with that supreme light. Once that happens, the soul can finally break free, ascend to the highest realm called Vishnupuri, and end the cycle of karma. For good. But the text leaves us with a pretty sobering thought, especially for our time. It suggests that back in the day, most souls had enough spiritual juice to at least make it to Pitruloka. But now, It says many modern souls are so weighed down by, well, by stuff, by material attachments and desires, that they get stuck right here in Earth's atmosphere. They can't even begin the journey. So this whole cosmic framework, it really brings everything back down to a super personal level, doesn't it? If every thought we have, every action we take adds to our spiritual weight or lightness, it really leaves us with one powerful question to think about. In your own life, right now, what is giving your soul weight? And what's giving it lightness?